Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Barbara, back again to talk to you today about a very unique nerve that's in your body right now. It's called the laryngeal nerve, and it's got a couple of different sections, but to start our conversation today, I want to start talking about one of my favorite animals that you'll see in zoos, giraffe. There's about 9 different subspecies of giraffe, but something that all giraffe have in common is that their laryngeal nerve starts up here at the brain, and it connects all the way down their neck, around their heart, and then back up to their voice box, or their larynx, right here in their neck. Now, it seems kind of ridiculous for one nerve to make such a long loop-de-loop path and then back up again. Certainly, if you or I or any engineer was designing an animal of this type with such a long neck, we would probably want to just go A to B and call it a good day. So the question is, why does a giraffe's recurrent laryngeal nerve travel such a distance? And we're talking on average of about 17 feet for a laryngeal nerve inside of a giraffe. So to get a better idea of why their laryngeal nerve does this and while your laryngeal nerve does this, let's take a zoom in on our board real quick. What we have here is a close-up of a human neck and face. So you can see a nose. Here's the pharynx, which is part of your larynx, which is the backside of your larynx. So this is your vocal box. And then here in green we see a vagus nerve. Your vagus nerve drops down your neck, and as it reaches your heart, it makes a loop underneath your aortic arch, and this is where it becomes the recurrent laryngeal nerve. And you can see that it travels back up, kind of connects to your neck, and continues on up to that larynx and the pharynx. So this entire loop in a human being is very similar to what we see in a giraffe. And in fact, all mammals have this loop of the nerve. But again, the question of why? Why doesn't it go from A to B? Why the loop down and around and back up again? So, for what this looks like in a human being, obviously I can't take you inside my body, so we're going to use some fun plushy time action. If your heart sits about, wait a minute, I guess technically hearts are a little more correct. There we go. My laryngeal nerve, which we're going to represent with this cord, starts up here behind my ear, base of my skull. So this is still the vagus nerve at this point. And it connects down my neck, down my chest, and when it gets to my heart, this is where it feeds through and underneath my aortic arch, and it comes back up my neck and connects to my vocal cords. Why? Why make this loop-de-loop pattern? Giraffe have it, we have it. So for a better idea of how evolution has played a part in this roundabout laryngeal loop, let's take another look back at our board for another close-up. I'm going to switch out images to a throwback from the way back. Our ancestors were once aquatic fish swimming in the deep blue sea. Right along the dorsal side of the fish, that's the back side or the fin side for you non-scientific folks, here's that same nerve cluster, the vagus, and it's got 4 branches that run down. Now the function of these nerves is to control the gills and to help motorize them to push water through. Why push water through? Because the blood vessels come up through the gills and the blood vessels are trying to grab oxygen out of the water. That's how gills work. What happened during evolution? Right here at the base, we've got the 4th branch of the vagus, and we've got the 6th branch here of this blood vessel. This 6th branch is going to become your aortic arch. So as evolution takes place, this fish is going to have to start splitting and separating in order to develop a neck. Fish are extremely neckless. Get it? Necklace? So as his neck develops, these get pushed down his body to become his chest, whereas the rest of these stay up central. That vagus is going to develop, become a much bigger brain, and actually we see some of these other blood vessels start to disappear altogether. So what this means for us is that evolution took a very, very long time. And over that course of developing this neck, those lower branches of the vagus developed into the recumbent, the recumbent laryngeal nerve, which trace under your aortic arch, because from the very beginning they were underneath. So as the aortic arch pushed down, the nerves had no choice but to travel down your chest with them, but they didn't want to lose the connection here. It's got to go here to here, so it was forced to create a crazy sidetrack loop under and back up again. All of the environmental pressures that made us the way we are, developed our bodies, helped us to stand upright, developed our necks, our broad chest, even our maximus gluteus for running, that's your tush. All these pressures have changed and developed you, and that is why the laryngeal nerve is such an excellent example of evolution. No engineer in their right mind would say, well, let's put in a pipeline that goes all the way down and around and back up just because I say so. No, they're always going to go for the shortest distance between 2 points. Your laryngeal nerve does not, proving evolution over creationism. Now, why is this a bad concept? If your laryngeal nerve is damaged, you're going to experience symptoms like hoarseness or difficulty swallowing, because besides just connecting to your vocal cords, it also helps control your epiglottis, which is a small covering over your windpipe and your esophagus inside your throat. So if you damage it, here to here, not so much room to damage it. You'd have to take a direct hit to the head. But now, when you stretch that vein out down your chest and back up again, it covers a lot more surface area. And if we go back to our giraffe, holy cats, we're talking a lot of surface area. All the way down and around and back up again, this is a lot of hit area or potential hitting area where that nerve could become damaged. Now specifically for giraffes, they have these 2 bony protrusions on the top of their head. They're actually a fur-covered bone called an ossicle. And when giraffe fight, usually over girlfriends, but when they fight, they're going to swing their heads around like a battering ram using these hard, thick ossicles, and they actually aim for each other's chests. Inside your chest, the giraffe's chest, is his heart, and unfortunately, that recurrent laryngeal nerve. So they are very prone to accidents and injuries to that nerve. So not such a great idea to stretch that nerve out over a longer distance. Now, few more things about giraffe and we'll wrap things up. This is an okapi. Just so you know, okapi is the only living relative of a giraffe. They do have a slightly elongated neck, but interesting enough, because they live in dense forests, they didn't have to develop the long neck to reach up into the trees like their counter cousin, the giraffe, did. So, okapi, giraffe. And head back to the board for our final thought of the day. A lot of people don't know this, but giraffe are actually decreasing in numbers. Over the years, giraffe have been one of the big 5 game species that people go to Africa to hunt. I find it kind of ridiculous that you would hunt and want a trophy giraffe, because you figure here to here is about 8 feet. So if you want to stuff it and bring it back to your house and put it in your living room, this is all you're getting, a giant neck and head sticking out of the floor of your living room. Some people do, everyone's different. I encourage everyone to check out the Giraffe Conservation Fund. Here's their website. And on a special note of interest, Giraffe Day, which just started in 2014, is June 21st. We're trying to raise awareness and prevent hunting on this interesting and unique creature. So, that is all for today. Have an awesome wherever your life may take you, and until next time.